Here it is, the 50th standard battle, a clash between two Diamond Brothers, Cooper versus Kamon. Who will prevail? Find out. Starts off with Cloyster Coldman versus a Crobat, and I have some options here. I can Ice Shard, I can set up spikes. Ice Shard would be nice if he wanted to taunt and get some damage on that, super effective. He wants to U-turn, however, so probably a good move that I picked in the form of taunt, or not taunt, that he didn't pick taunt, because I went with spikes. And who comes in off the U-turn? It's going to be Scizor. Spikes should be pretty good to set up versus that. So looking over my team to see what I've got to handle a Scizor with, and I do have Magnezone, so I'm going to be able, I figure I'll go with that first. You know, if it wants to U-turn out immediately and be CB, that's, you know, fine, whatever. He superpowers right off the bat though, and that did a ton of damage. I see no Life Orb either, and I'm just like, wow, that did a ton of damage. I guess that's why Superpower has 120 base power, eh? And keeping in mind, this is, you know, pretty darn physically defensive Magnezone. It's bold with maybe max HP, I think it's 344 the max. Tons of HP and defense at any rate. And I'm going to be able to match him, you know, his Swords Dances with barriers as I gain lefties. I decide to pull a stunt on this turn, though, and I sub up while he will be making his Swords Dance to get to +5 currently. He'll be at +5 now. So what I fully expect to have happen here is to T-Bolt him twice for the KO, but because this is a bulky Scizor and a not specially attackive Magnezone, it doesn't 2-hit KO, so it's the perfect combo of things to make it not 2-hit KO. And that sort of leaves me in a bit of a pickle here. He's now at +4, and I'm at +4 on defense, so, you know, if he were to hit me again, I'm pretty sure that's roughly where I was after he hit me the first time, so we're even again. So I'll just go for a T-Bolt, and see if I can make something happen with a Paralyze or a crit, and that's, you know, right now I'm staring at a pretty powerful Scizor, looking me down right now, and no one really wants to come in and handle that. I do have a Scarm that I could possibly go to, but I don't want him to take a hit coming in, and I don't really have anyone that I want to Death Fodder out either. So he pulls an SD and gets to +6, and now I really don't want to have Scarm take a hit before he can get a chance to come in and maybe win. Superpower might actually KO at that point. But he continues to try to play for long term and roost up to try to get Scizor up to higher amounts of hit points. I don't know if he's winning the damage trade very well or not, but I go for another T-Bolt, and, you know, maybe he'll eventually start attacking me, but he starts attacking me a little bit too late, so I'll try to play a little bit too long term, I'm afraid, and sure enough, the crit does happen. That's what happens when you play too much defense, I guess. You know, certainly I didn't feel great about it, even though I recognize that, you know, if I'm going to really beat this thing with Magnezone, I'm gonna need a Paralyze or a crit, and so I got the latter. It's still lame, but at the same time, I wanted it, so I don't really know what to say about that. But anyway, Infernape comes in, so Magnezone has to go. And I did bring Gyarados on this team, and I know Kamon likes to run Slack Off Life Orb on his Infernapes to prevent LO stalling from being a viable option. And I'm thinking that may limit his coverage moves on Gyara, so I think Gyarados should be pretty safe. Stone Edge might be possible, but you know, that could miss. So he uses Fire Blast, and that misses, so I don't get to confirm the Life Orb just yet, but it's definitely what I'm thinking he has. And around this time we're talking to Zat, and you know, I start to feel really bad about the crit, so I make what I think at the time is a suboptimal play in the form of Taunt. Ordinarily I would have DD'd there, and but this is where I make a terrible, terrible blunder. I have a Taunted Scarm, I have a Magnezone. Why do I not go into it right now? For whatever reason, I DD up, and I mean, it's nice that he can't Whirlwind me out, sure, but that Brave Bird is doing tons of damage. This Gyara is pretty much offensive with lefties, kind of similar to Malice's. And I don't know why I think Waterfall has even a remote chance of 2-hit KOing. You know, maybe if I had gotten a flinch there, it might have done okay. But, you know, I should have this Gyarados at 33 max HP, and instead he's at 95. So I lost about 80% of Gyarados' HP for nothing. Because now on this turn, I finally wake up and realize, hey, just switch in Magnezone, Cooper. You know, it's okay. Be kind of cutthroat. Don't cut Kamon any slack. But you know, I'm not trying to use that as an excuse or anything, but that was just how I sort of felt at the time. So that's my only justification for why I made that move. So whatever, I made the move, live with it. So Magnet Man finally comes in and says, "About time you switched me in," and kills the Skarm that can't Whirlwind or Spikes or anything except Brave Bird for 1/4 damage. And that's 2 things down, and in comes Gastrodon, which is the Diamond Brothers signature Pokemon. I gotta get myself one of these, although mine's gonna be the blue-green EC one. I prefer that one to the pink and brown. Sorry, pink and brown are not really my colors. Blue and green are. And this Magnet Man has hidden power, but I'm not gonna tell you guys which hidden power it is just yet. But I'm gonna switch out to Skarm. I know that the Diamond Brothers standard for Gastrodon is Toxic, Earth Power, Ice Beam, and that's can be pretty arduous to deal with. And you know, I thought about that one for a while. I didn't cut out any think time from this either, so this is at, I believe, 3 times speed. Yeah, because the battle lasted an hour and the vid's like 20 minutes. So I send in Tengu Man, who the best move that he has against it is going to be Ice Beam, which he does go for. So he made a good prediction there, I suppose. I guess going into any flying type that would have been fine. But anyway, I can't exactly get him dead, but you know that's not usually the goal with Skarm. I'm just gonna set up spikes and wait for either something else to come in. I can roost. Eventually, the Ice Beam does pretty decent damage, but I can roost it off. Earth Power Stab is certainly something to be afraid of, but I figure, you know, I don't know. I guess I figured 2 neutral. I don't know. I feel like a stab super effective Earth Power would actually do. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I just felt okay just roosting. I didn't feel like I was gonna die because of it. So T-Tar comes in, and that's actually somewhat helpful because I happen to bring Gliscor on this team. This is Shade Man. No, he doesn't have Aqua Tail and Aerial Ace anymore. He's got Earthquake and Toxic, which is way better. So he Fire Blasts and it hits through Sand Veil. So Gliscor's not very good at dodging Fire Blasts. And it doesn't do too much, and that's probably going to be his best option versus this thing. So I know Gliscor's should be a near 100% counter to T-Tar. Sling a Toxic at something, and it happens to be a Crobat, which this Crobat 100% walls Gliscor. All it's got is Earthquake and Toxic, neither of which touch Crobat. At the same time, I don't know if he can touch me. All I've really seen is U-turn. I suppose I could try to counter that, but you know, I'll just go into Cold Man. And he taunts, which is pretty acceptable, I guess. I don't believe taunt blocks counters. It's technically a physical move, but you know, it would have been a dumb thing to stay in and try. Especially when I can bring in Cold Man. I can use Ice Shard on him, and you know, so I'm already taunted, so I have to use either Ice Shard or Explode. And I think I'll go with Ice Shard to get some damage on this thing. I don't have Rocks up, so I need, you know, to kill it with something eventually, and that does a pretty respectable amount of damage for you know, this isn't an offensively invested Cloyster. I think it's got like max HP. The IV may be flawed. It's like 30, and I think it's got like over 200 investment in special defense. So this thing comes in, and I figure, you know, he's. I'm just gonna. I believe I click Explosion here, fully expecting to live, and because I'm pretty heavily invested in special defense, so I feel like I should be able to live this Fire Blast if it even hits at all. And I'm pretty much fine in just removing his Infernape. At this point, I've realized, yeah, there's my hard hat for defense, emote strip. You know, Gara is no longer really going to be able to handle Ape, but Fire Blast does hit, and I had 249 HP. I actually ran the calc, and it does do 288 minimum from his set to mine, so that's definitely a legit 1-hit KO. And at that point, I was pretty stunned. I know that I'm not going to be able to Life Orb stall this thing down because of its slack offs. So, who do I go into here? At this point, I'm pretty baffled that that killed. Although, you know, looking at it now, I see, yep, that definitely is a kill. I guess that's why he took so long. He was doing calcs, and I don't know if being absolute max would have helped or not. I believe that thing's impish. But yeah, I'm thinking for a long time. At this point, I'm calcing to see what can live a Fire Blast. I've got an Electivire that can live a Fire Blast, I believe. I'm pretty sure I calc Neutral Nature with Life Orb. Neutral Nature, Life Orb, Max Special Attack. Blaze isn't active yet, although I completely forget about Blaze in this battle. But with respectable special defense, Electivire can live a Fire Blast, I believe. At least that's what my calc tells me, or that's what my calc told me at the time. It may have later been revealed to be wrong. What do I think at this point, Ape is just big threat number 1 to me. I think I go for Earthquake. I want it dead. You know, make him make a good switch, and he does make a good switch. He goes into Crobat, and yeah, the diamond is for a good play, brother. And unfortunately, that sand damage now means that I have a considerably less chance to live Fire Blast. And here I should most likely switch in Magnezone. On Crobat, well, I don't know. There's probably some things that Crobat could do to Magnezone, but I've seen Taunt, I've seen U-Turn, and you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just send Magnezone in. I guess I was a little wary of it mainly because of Gastrodon. So he Roost to get some HP back from the Ice Shard, and I T-Bolt, and that does about 40%. It's pretty good. And because he's now at about half, I feel like he's gonna Roost again, and so I click Earthquake, and let's see what happens on this turn. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice, it's not going to be something very good. So we're waiting on him to pick a move, and I'm hoping he picks Roost, because I picked Earthquake, and I feel like that would get him down quite low anyway. I don't know if it would kill him. He'd be at full HP. I would be using my higher attack stat, but it's also not stab. At the same time, of course, if he doesn't go for Roost, then, you know, T-Bolt is certainly going to kill. So, you know, I feel like if he doesn't go for Roost, it's sort of risky. He plays a little bit risky, goes for Brave Bird, and Earthquake does nothing. So that was really bad. That was really bad for me, guys. Really bad for me. That's so bad. Anyway, so obviously a misplay on my account. Seeing how much T-Bolt did, I probably should have just kept going with that. You know, I got a crit earlier with T-Bolt. Maybe I can get a Paralyze on Crobat too, eh? Anyway, I switch in Skarm now, and I guess I just felt like Skarm was a little bit safer from Gastrodon. I felt like if I switched in Magnezone, Gastrodon would just come in and make that pretty much completely pointless. Although, I would have been doing my hidden power on Crobat, which I guess I should just go ahead and say it's Ice now. So I can't really threaten Gastrodon whatsoever. And I believe I Whirlwind here, because at this point I'm kind of interested in just racking up some residual damage. He taunts me, however. Oh no, I just Drill Peck, that's right. This is the turn where I Drill Peck, and that right there is probably one of the most convincing arguments for Brave Bird on Skarm. Especially with sand damage, Brave Bird would have KO'd, and without too much HP loss especially. And Drill Peck, as you can see, did not. So yeah, I still don't think, however, that I would ever run Brave Bird on a Skarmory of mine, unless it was some sort of like novelty Swords Dance Agility Skarmory or something like that. But anyway, that's just my personal preference. Clearly Crobat gains 30% or so HP on that, and he's going to be able to roost again. So I guess I clicked the right move considering that he taunted that turn, but unfortunately the damage didn't quite work out in my favor. So I can do nothing but continue to click Drill Peck here, and he's back up to about 50%. So he could still stand to gain a little bit more, I guess. Eventually there's going to be a threshold where he won't be able to really gain anymore. But he's going to go ahead and U-turn out of here, and probably go into Infernape. I think that's about... No, he goes into T-Tar. That's right, because it's got Fire Blast. Take some more Spikes damage, and... Oh, that's right, he would have wanted to... Well, yeah, when he saw I didn't switch, he knew that I had to go for Drill Peck, therefore Infernape would not have been a good thing to switch in. So, yeah, T-Tar was definitely the best option he had, knowing that I was going to be forced to Drill Peck. So I send in Pump Man, and yeah, this is another case where, you know, the Scare not being at full HP kind of stinks. He Dragon Dances, which is going to put him faster than Pump Man unless he's super Zeta slow. Unless he's so Zeta slow. But I'm going to go ahead and click Waterfall, and of course I'm not faster, so... is he Leftovers? No, he's not Leftovers. I'm not sure what his item is. It's not Life Orb either. Could be... I don't know. It's a mystery item. I guess we'll maybe find out later. Anyway. So, as I already said, Gliscor is a pretty solid go-in on this T-Tar, but for whatever reason I switch in Tengu Man. I don't know if I'm baiting him into a Fire Blast or what. But anyway, oh, that's right, because he's got a DD up, that's right. So, for whatever reason, I felt like winding him out there, and I wind him into Infernape, which, yeah, he takes spikes, but, you know. Fortunately, that Fire Blast missed, and now I have a big decision to make. I look at the team and try to figure out, okay, who do I care least about? Right now, to be honest, that's Skarm. I don't have enough time in narration to really explain why I thought that at the time, but suffice to say, someone's going to have to attempt to dodge a Fire Blast, and Skarm's not dodging a Fire Blast today. So I stayed in, attempted to Drill Peck. You know, if I got the 15% miss, Infernape would be dead. I guess worst case, you know, it's more Life Orb damage on him. I was also potentially baiting the Slack off on a switch. That was definitely on my mind at the time as well. But, you know, he made the right play on it, it didn't happen, and I got a dead Skarm to account for it. So now that what in my mind was, I guess, the least useful, I mean, it was probably going to be okay. It was going to be able to stand up to Gastrodon, but it wasn't going to be able to kill it. So I guess that was sort of my justification for why Skarmory, you know, it had set up enough spikes. I didn't really feel like Whirlwind was a needed utility anymore. He's got a Crobat with Taunt. So I guess I felt like Skarm is safe to go. So here's Shademan here, and I cannot believe he hit Fire Blast through Sandveil, but he did. I believe I clicked Earthquake there, and with Sand damage and Life Orb, he does go down, but wow, so he took out 2 of my walls. I'm definitely in not so great shape versus T-Tar now. In terms of trying to kill that Gastrodon, about the only guy who might be able to KO it is Electivire, and even that I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna need to land probably like a crit Earthquake or something like that, so that's not gonna be too likely to happen either. But right here, what do I do here? Right here, I'm mostly concerned. I know that Electman's got limited number of hits left because of Sand. I go for Ice Punch, and doesn't kill, and I get Electman dead. At the time, came and thought that was a mistake on my part. I mean, obviously it was since he didn't switch, but, you know, I was really playing safe with the Crobat, just knowing that I needed to make every hit count, and I felt like Earthquake was... Earthquake or Cross Chop, Earthquake being way more safe, was just an obvious thing to try to go to and just try to stall me out with Sand damage, especially when that thing has Roost, and at that point it would just be able to Roost all day while I eventually got worn down from Sand. So a T-Bolt after taking a Fire Blast, which Magnezone is able to take. I guess it's not an Infernape Fire Blast, though. But get him out of there with T-Bolt. And now, unfortunately, he's got two guys left. He's got Gastrodon and Crobat. I can definitely kill Crobat, but can I kill Gastrodon? Nope. I'm going to go ahead and go for Hidden Power anyway. Actually get a critical hit. So if that had been HP Grass at 4 times the damage, I probably still wouldn't have killed. But, you know, it was nice to see. So, just a masterfully played game by him, coming back from the hacks early with Scizor and Magnezone. And I had some boneheaded blunders that might could have pulled the game out if I had not made those. But, you know, that's what I like to see it come down to. You know, some hacks comes into play, and the guy who got hacks makes some fantastic plays. And I don't lose because of hacks, and I don't really lose because of team advantage. I lose because I made some mistakes. So, you know, that's just something I can look at in the future and grow from, whereas, you know, if you lose by hacks and stuff, you don't really get to grow any in your skill from that. So it was a fantastic game, definitely worthy of my 50th battle milestone, and here's to 50 more. Definitely hoping we're going to get all of those done on 4th generation, if at all possible. Who knows if 6th will be out by then. I might actually start playing that. But thank you guys for sticking with me through 50 battle videos. It's been since, what, January 2009, and this is just finally getting the 50th one up. So that'll do it. Thanks for the awesome battle, Diamond Brother Kamon. And oh, make sure to check out his version as well. I'll have the link and the video response, all that good stuff. He should have some annotation narrations, like I did in the Winter series, as well as some nicely stitched together music for you guys. So check out his version as well. It's still my footage, but go ahead and check out what his thoughts on the battle were. Thanks for watching, and later days.